Okay, everybody, welcome to the next live stream. I know that we're going to have some new folks listening in because I was down at the Clay Clark Reawaken tour today, met a lot of amazing, awesome patriots there, and hopefully some of them are going to be joining us for the live stream. So I wanted to start first and foremost by talking about something that is unfortunately kind of growing in influence, certainly among the younger generations, and it's kind of scary, to be honest with you. If you needed yet another reason to homeschool your children and get them away from the public schools, whether it be in school or even an after-school activity, here's that reason. Listen to how crazy this is. You ready for this? After-school Satan Club. That's right, After School Satan Club, targeting children ages 6 to 11 at an Illinois elementary school, thankfully sparks outrage amongst parents. Moline, Illinois, an Illinois school district is under fire for allowing an after-school Satan Club by the Satanic Temple. Parents are outraged after a flyer inviting Jane Addams Elementary students aged 6 to 11 to an after-school Satan Club circulated amongst social media sites this week. The Satanic Temple's co-founder claimed the Satan Club won't try to convert children to Satanism or force them to worship the devil. Sure, okay. So the Satan Club that worships Satan is somehow going to visit with children and not try to convert them to the dark side to worship Satan. And we're supposed to believe that? Seriously? This actually isn't a club that is meant to proselytize Satanism or even engage in discussions about religious opinion, Satanic Temple co-founder Lucian Greaves told WQAD. This is an educational program meant to focus on critical thinking and just basic education skills. Really? Well, if you wanted to teach these children, quote, basic education skills, I don't know, math, reading, science, history, those things kind of pop off my mind right off the bat. Not, worshiping the devil. Unreal. The Bellevue News Democrat reported that many parents are reportedly furious over the meetings that will be held at the Jane Addams Elementary School in Moline. Dr. Rachel Savage, the superintendent for Moline Cole Valley Schools, said the school and its teachers are not involved in the club. Flyers were placed in the lobby of the school, and parents must sign a permission slip to allow their children to attend, just as they do for Boys and Girls Scouts. Oh, so that makes it much better. Yeah. As long as the parents are Satan worshipers, sure, we can certainly sign off on it and let the kids do it too. Unreal. She said the Board of Education allows its facilities to be used for community use. To illegally deny this organization to pay to rent our publicly funded institution after school hours subjects the district to a discrimination lawsuit, which we will not win, likely taking thousands upon thousands of taxpayer dollars away from our teachers, staff, and classroom. So that's your excuse. So you would rather not fight against indoctrinating children age 6 to 11 in Satanism than throwing the dice and, I don't know, bringing it to court? I mean, come on. Satanism is not a religion, okay? You can say all you want that it is. It's not. It is a death cult, okay? It worships someone that is evil. Basically, Democrats, for that matter. And so here's my thought on this. These people that are atheists or these people that are Satanists, they believe in the devil and they think that they get power from the devil. Let's not forget, Black Lives Matter, which summons evil spirits, dead spirits, on a nightly basis. And they admitted, Patrisse Cullors and a couple of other founders admitted that they would worship dead spirits in order to, quote, help them make the work that they do, which is, ransacking businesses, destroying police cars, and Molotov cocktailing federal buildings. Yeah, real great work. Bottom line is this. These folks that say that they don't believe in God and they're atheists and everything else, yeah, guess what? When something happens in your life and you can't control it, whether it's health related, whether it's grieving a lost loved one, whatever it is, guess who you end up praying to? You don't pray to Satan. You pray to God. Okay? When you're in a situation and it's life-threatening, what do? You go, please, God, help me out of this situation. You don't ask for Satan. So again, it's all garbage. And this school should ban this. They should fight against this. So anyway, I wanted to open with something like that. How about this? The dementia patient in our stolen White House, the illegal squatter, I guess he's a little bit upset that two senators, and in particular one, Kirsten Sinema, decided to say, nah, throwing the whole Constitution thing and 240 plus years of, the American experience down the toilet for one bill, it's just not worth it. Not to mention the pressure that we put on her and others to make sure that she didn't buckle from this. So apparently the dementia patient is a little bit upset, right? And as dementia patients typically do, they lash out. They yell, they curse uncontrollably. My father, when he was alive and had dementia towards the end of his life, he would just go on these tirades of, profanity and things like that. So apparently Biden didn't do that. So I guess he knows enough not to do that. But Biden vows to, quote, go to war with state legislatures after Sinema and Manchin blow up his bid to kill the filibuster. You see, the whole reason why they want to federalize our elections is because they know that states and state legislatures are the ones that run the elections, not the federal government. It is done at the state level. And that's why states can do what? They can audit the vote. They can look into elections. They can make sure that things are on the up and up. They can change rules. They can change laws at the state level and for that state's election. Well, Democrats don't want that. Democrats want to continue to cheat over and over and over again. That's the reason they're trying to federalize the elections. You will never succeed, ever. So here's what he says. I'm going to go to war. What does he say here? Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. I don't know that we can get this done, but as long as I have breath in me, as long as I'm in the White House, he should have said stolen, as long as I'm engaged at all, I'm going to be fighting to change the way these legislatures have moving. Have moving? Word salad once again from Biden. So, look, he can't do anything, okay? You can take your temper tantrum and shove it because the state legislatures are the ones that control the elections, and we're going to make sure that it stays that way. Temper tantrum Biden. The only thing you can barely even control is probably your bowels, and I don't even think you can do that. All right, let's see. This one's real rich. I like this one. You know what? Let's do this one real quick. Hang on. So apparently, look, when people put up barriers and walls and things like that, if it's a nation, it's to protect that nation from invaders and intruders, i.e., illegal aliens, drug runners, people bringing in fentanyl, whatever, right? That's why we have a border wall, and that's why we need to finish the border wall. But when you're a slimy politician and you put barriers and walls up to keep those pesky peasant, we the people, away from you, well, you know why they do that? Because you're afraid of us. That's why. And you know what? You probably should be. But I think it's funny that they're putting up this concrete wall around our White House, not yours. It's the people's house. So you need to understand that too. But leaving the border wide open like a sieve. Come on in, terrorists, come on in. Drug dealers, come on in. Whoever, come on in. It's ridiculous. So let's see. So the fraudulent administration, the Pino or the Biden pretendency, is erecting a concrete security wall around the White House. Let's see. Here it is. There's some pictures of it. The U.S. border is completely open. Yes, we know that too. So it looks like, let's see, administration built a concrete security wall around the White House this week. It's not clear Yet why they believe the construction of a concrete wall is necessary. Well, once again, I just have to say this, and I'll say it. It's amazing that they think a concrete wall around the people's White House, not yours, the people's White House, is somehow going to keep, this illegitimate squatter, let's call him what he is, from we the people. Okay? We are laughing at that. So I'll leave it at that. So let's see. We've got a bunch more to cover, but I will look at some of the emails real quick. Okay. Iris. Hi, Josh. I read today that the Washington State passed a new law on May 1st, 2020 about a new means to dispose of human corpses. It is named RCW 6850-110 and was passed simultaneously as they started to build the concentration camps that CD had talked about for a long time. The new means is called alkaline hydrolysis, and to avoid being detected, they will liquefy the corpses. As I have understood, of course, they are targeting the Republicans, Christians, and unvaxxed, who are often the same person. My question is, how in the world are you going to escape this? I'm so concerned for you. It makes me deeply sad and worried, Iris. Well, Iris, we can't live in fear. All right, that's number one. What I do for a living and the things that I say and the positions that I take, I know point blank that they are controversial. I know that I am rattling lots of people's cages. Trust me, I get tons and tons of hate mail. Sometimes death threats, but mostly hate mail. But this is who I am. It's in my DNA. I couldn't stop if I wanted to. So my time on Earth, which I hope is a very long time on Earth, will be dedicated to saving this nation. Period. End of story. And I will do whatever I can. I will say whatever I need to say to influence and bring people over to patriotism, to love of America, to love of freedom and liberty and prosperity. And I can't worry about things like that. One thing I will say is anytime I'm out, yes, I am completely armed to the teeth all the time. I've got plenty of weapons. I am a big fan of the Second Amendment. And, it is what it is. Hopefully nothing happens, but I'm not going to stop. It's in my DNA. I'm defiant. Maybe it's the Jersey upbringing. I don't know. But I'm always going to buck the system. As I said on a show today at this live event, I said if I was ever to come back as a animal or whatever, it would be a fish. And it would be a salmon swimming upstream as everybody else is going downstream. I'm swimming against the current. That's just who I am. So I haven't heard about this rule, but I will look into it. And who knows, maybe I'll even do a segment on it. But it did happen back in May, so I may have touched on it, but this one isn't jogging my memory too much. So, okay, let's see. Roger, let's see. What do you think about the CIA training Ukrainians in the United States? Well, look, I've said this before, Roger. Ukraine are the left, basically. Russia is the right, okay? That's why the boogeyman was always with Russia, right? Russia, Russia, Russia. Because the left hates Russia. Why do they hate Russia? It's pretty simple. Because Russia are nationalists for Russia. Russia are against NATO. They're against globalism. They're actually more free than the United States. They're not trying to mandate anything from a federal level like we were trying to do. Thankfully, the courts came in. So again, I think that's a big part of it. The CIA has been doing all kinds of horrific things for many, many years. Ukrainians, they've trained Muslim terrorists. We know that. They trained in Nevada, in the middle of the desert, Syrian fighters, okay, for the Syrian Free Syrian Army. And they thought that they were going to go and then take out ISIS. And guess what? They instead joined them. So it's probably another mistake to train any of these foreign, militaries and things like that, because eventually They just turn around and they use that technology and everything else against us. Senator Rand Paul, in a 2013 video, telling college students that spreading misinformation is a great tactic. Didn't know about that, but spreading truthful information is a great tactic, not misinformation, so I'm not sure on that one. Have you heard about Fauci Act, sponsored by Kansas Senator Roger Marshall? A little bit. I didn't break it down and go into it. I know that they're coming after him. But again, you have to understand, you can't come after him unless you win the House and the Senate, okay? And not by a little bit. It's got to be big, big margins, because you're going to need more Republican votes to try to hold this guy accountable. As I said in one of the last couple of videos, I believe he's a mass murderer. I believe he's number 7 on the all-time list of mass murderers. And he needs to be dealt with. He needs to be held accountable for killing that many people. And again, that was just COVID. I'm not even talking about AIDS, or how many monkeys he killed, or how many beagles he killed, or how many black orphans with AIDS as he killed in 2004 at Centennial College in New York City. You know, they asked for a specimen, a bunch of people basically, and they sent black orphans to be experimented on with poisonous AIDS drugs. 53 of them died, okay? So he's a murderer. That's who he is, and he needs to be held accountable. All right, I'm going to go back to the stories because there's a lot of them, and they're nuts. Trust me, they're nuts. These stories tonight are just crazy. So here, let me get to that real quick. Here we go. Okay, so let's talk about this one in particular. I think I'm going to probably start with this one because it's just incredibly insane. Like you can't even believe this one. Okay, here it is. Okay, so could you imagine you're Jewish, okay? You have an ice cream company that you built. It's called Ben and Jerry's. Ben Cohn and Jerry Greenfield. What am I talking about? Listen to this one, folks. Board of Directors and Vice President of Ben and Jerry's Foundation was voted Anti-Semite of the Year. Okay? Now remember, this is a company founded by New York Jews. Keep that in mind. All right, so let's get on to this one. Ready? On Sunday, Michael Evans, founder of the Jerusalem Prayer Team, released a news report from the Jerusalem Post that anti-Semitism watchdog group StopAntisemitism.org has announced the new winner for 2021 Anti-Semite of the Year Award, granting the dishonor to Anorada Mittal, the head of Ben & Jerry's board of directors and vice president of Ben & Jerry's Foundation and Ice Cream. In response, several U.S. states such as Florida and Illinois divested their pension fund holdings from the parent company that owns Ben & Jerry's, which is known as Unilever. Unilever stock prices have dropped significantly as well, dealing a harsh blow to its capital and further providing the Ben & Jerry's board. Anti-Semitism has far-reaching consequences beyond those that just spout anti-Semitism. Earlier this year, Mittal spearheaded the effort by Ben & Jerry's to stop the sale of ice cream to 800,000 Jews living in Israel. Can you believe this? The decision was clearly not made for the sake of the Palestinian people, who are now also unable to purchase a pint from the Vermont ice cream maker. This is blatantly anti-Semitic behavior. In response, multiple U.S. companies, Mittal's history with anti-Semitism is long and upsetting. Under Mittal's leadership, in 2018, Ben & Jerry made the controversial decision to partner with notorious anti-Semite Linda Sarsour, an American Palestinian activist who was booted from the Women's March for promoting hatred towards the Jewish people and the nation of Israel. So imagine that. You have two Jews from New York, high school friends. I don't know, call them Bend Over Jerry's Ice Cream, whatever. Okay? I don't think they're, I think they're a little, whatever. So anyway, they are absolutely rabid, hardcore, extreme leftists, okay? To the left of Bernie Sanders. These people are just disgusting. And these are the types of Jews, as someone who is Jewish, okay, I absolutely despise, okay? I will go against them any chance I can get. I mean, what's their next flavor going to be? Is it going to be what? Communist caramel? Huh? Is that what it's going to be? Is it going to be liberal lemon? Is it going to be progressive pecan? I mean, unbelievable. And then to hire this woman who is a total anti-Semite. Why would you do that? A company founded by Jews hires an anti-Semite. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense at all. Unless you are a liberal first and a Jew second. Oh, no, he didn't just say that one again, did he? Yes, he did. Absolutely. Unbelievable. So I thought that was a pretty crazy story. Let's see. We got a bunch more crazy stories. Oh, my God. Listen to this. You want to talk about taking things to an extreme when it comes to hygiene, craziness, I mean, masks, vax, the whole bit. Listen to this story. And this is not The Onion. This is not the Babylon Bee. This is not satire, folks. This is real. Listen to this one. Report. Employer demands employees wear masks during Zoom meetings, claiming, quote, unmasked faces make other employees nervous. Yes. Yes, that's right. I guess a CEO of a company. Let's see. What is, they give the name? No, there's just a video they're talking about it. But can you believe that? So the manager of this company, I work from home, and today my boss sent me an email saying that the whole team needs to wear masks during our Zoom meetings because one of the employees has a fear of unmasked people, the man stated, who did not want to give his name. I'm trying to be respectful, but this is a little bit ridiculous. A little bit ridiculous? I think it's a lot ridiculous. He then shows a screenshot of an email that reads as follows. Hello, team. I am writing you all today to inform you of a new protocol for our staff and for our Zoom meetings. Moving forward, everyone will be required to wear a mask during our meetings. One of our team members, just one, not the majority, none of that. No, just one Karen, I'm sure, right? Just one Karen team members has a fear of unmasked people. And I want to make sure that everyone feels safe. Oh, everyone must feel safe and secure and comfortable, right? This requirement is effective immediately. Best, Ashley Leanne Davidson Green, I guess is the name of the company. Can you believe that? How insane is that? That is crazy. If you ask me, it's crazy. So, okay. So we've got some more here. Let's see. Let's go through some of the comments real quick. I have such a slow internet speed. May have to watch again tomorrow. Oh, sorry about that. That sucks. Josh froze up. No smooth flow here. Is everyone having an issue? Is it froze? Let's see. I hope it didn't freeze up completely. Let me see if I refresh it. What happens? There we go. I think it's back. Sometimes these live streams, they do that. I think though, if I'm not mistaken, the actual recording after the fact that's not live, I believe that one's going to be fine. At least I hope, right? Fingers crossed. We'll see. So anyway, that was pretty nuts. So let's see. We've got more here. Democrats are indeed a legitimate, certified terrorist organization, no different than ISIS, no different than the Taliban, and this shocking poll absolutely proves it. Look at this right here. Let's see. Let me put this one up. Paste. Here we go. Okay. Vast majority of Democrats are fascists who approve of big tech censorship. It's become quite clear that the modern Democrat Party is quite different from the one that produced JFK, Harry Truman, and even Zell Miller for that matter. According to a new poll published Monday by Rasmussen, a clear majority of Democrats, 57%, are basically fascists who approve of big tech censoring messages that, just doesn't fit their left-leaning point of view. Only 32% of Democrats disagreed. Wow. So here was the question. Which is better? For the owners of social media like Facebook and Twitter to regulate what is posted to make sure that people are not offended, or to allow free speech without interference? Offended, oh my goodness, offended. Rasmussen didn't ask if violent content or racist content or misinformation should be censored. No, just if it makes you feel bad, if it, quote, might offend you, that was enough for the fascist Democrats. Sadder still, only a slight majority, 51% of the public at large, disagrees with big tech censorship. What's wrong with the other 49%? Could it be that they spend a little bit too much time watching the Communist News Network or MSLSD? Probably. These big tech Nazis roll into town, corner the market on political discourse by promising us free speech, and then, after they have cornered the market, they go full McCarthy in blacklisting people and opinions and ideas that they deem are unapproved, which includes even former President of the United States. Things were bad back in 2016 when American Israeli Adina Kudnicki and I published our first book, Banned: How Facebook Enables Militant Islamic Jihad. Yes, and I remember that. And this is an article from my good buddy Joe Newby from Conservative Firing Line. He's been at it too for a very long time. I've interviewed him numerous times many years ago. He's a good guy. So let's see. This one's interesting. What if I told you that USA Today, which is a pretty major publication, right? USA Today, who once called me, by the way, a terrorist and compared me to the Ayatollah Khomeini and David Duke, okay? There was an article they wrote about me, and they had 4 images. I don't remember who the other person was, but they had me, they had the Ayatollah, and they had David Duke, all in the same image, and they called me a terrorist. So wouldn't you know that the organization, USA Today, that called me a terrorist completely supports pedophilia. That's right. Completely supports pedophilia. Unbelievable. Even apologizes for it. Here, let's pull this one up. Let's see. Ready? This one's nuts. I told you tonight I was going to have crazy stories, and I'm not backing down from that. USA Today tries to normalize pedophilia, gets caught, and of course deletes the thread after some backlash. Here's what they wrote. You ready for this? This is from USA Today Life with the check, okay, at USA Today Life. When most of the public thinks of pedophilia, well, let's stop it right there. When most of the public thinks about pedophilia, they think about violent acts against anyone that would do anything to harm a child. Okay? Let's put that right out there. When most of the public thinks of pedophilia, they assume it's synonymous with child sexual abuse. Duh. Yeah, it is. A pedophile is an adult who is sexually attracted to children. See what they're doing here? They're trying to normalize pedophilia. Now they want to be LGBTQ, whatever the hell it is, plus P, right? Now they're calling them MAPs, MAP, minor attracted persons. This is the sick, twisted mentality of leftists and these wackos in the trans testicle and pinko movements. A pedophile is an adult who is sexually attracted to children, but not all pedophiles abuse kids. Oh, well, thankfully. No, they're probably the ones that aren't fast enough to try to capture them in their vans. And some people who sexually abuse kids are not pedophiles. Really? So you're going to differentiate some sick bastard who fondles or touches a child. Oh, wait. Isn't there a fake president right now that does that on a daily basis in front of the cameras? Yeah, I think there is. There is no differentiation here, okay? What you were trying to do and what you got caught doing was not only supporting pedophilia, but then apologizing for it. You sickos at USA Today. Go ahead and write that headline. Go ahead. Bernstein called you sickos. That's right, I did. Unbelievable. Craziness. Craziness. All right, let's go back to the comments. What do we got here? Andrew McRoberts. Good evening, Josh. Looking forward to tonight's live stream. My question is about cyber ninjas. I was reading an article that said they were done, let anyone go, and close the door. Have you heard if this is true or not? Have a great weekend. Keep up the excellent work, Andy. I'm not really sure because of the way that's written, but I've covered this in the past. If you're new, maybe you haven't heard it, but I've said all along, I thought Doug Logan and Cyber Ninjas were a plant because they were listening to Jovan Pulitzer up until about mid-May. And then from that point, they said, nah, we got this figured out on our own. We don't need the greatest technology. You know, the guy that created the QR scans in your supermarkets, right? When you scan your food and things like that. Yeah, that's Jovan Pulitzer. Absolute genius. But no, we're not going to listen to him, the genius. We're going to do it on our own. And so I think that Doug Logan and Cyber Ninjas were a plant. Because remember, there were three. There were three versions before the media got a hold of it and dropped it the night before the meeting happened where they were going to give the results of the audit. The three versions were this. Version number one was the best version. They were going to call for a decertification and they were going to count the fraudulent ballots. They didn't pick that one. Version number two, they were not going to call for decertification, but they were going to count the fraudulent ballots. They didn't choose that one either. No, they didn't. What did they choose? They chose the watered down third version, which was what? They didn't call for decertification, and they actually kicked out the fraudulent ballots. So why? So that everything would balance. So they could say, oh, hey, you know, it really wasn't as bad as it was. Trump won Arizona by 1 million votes, first, folks, by 1 million, if not even more than that. Okay? This is not Trump country here. I mean, Biden country here at all. So obviously they stole it. But anyway, so that's that. Let's see, Glenn. The border. I haven't heard anything about the border lately. Is there anything we should know about it? Yeah, it's a sieve. It's wide open. They're coming in left and right. 2 million plus people. What was it? 200 and no, it was even higher than that. I forget the number. I think it was like 458% increase in illegal immigration in 1 year. Okay? It's an absolute disaster. So we need to have the military, the National Guard locked and loaded at the border. That's how you stop it. Okay? You don't have to shoot and kill anybody, but you know, maybe shoot at the ground as a warning if they keep coming. You know, maybe get rid of a pinky toe. I guarantee you they're going to stop coming. They're going to go back to the rest of them and go, hey, you know what? America is no more an open border country. We ought to come in the right way. That's what needs to happen. And I have no problem saying it. All right. Liam just popped in. Let's see. What do you got, Liam? Figures. He's always going to have 4 or 5 of them. Hi, Josh. I hope the show is going well. Other than the fact that it froze me like this for a while. Here's my questions. Have you considered pushing control and what? To make the chat box bigger and easier to use? No, because I probably didn't know that you could do that, and I'm certainly not going to try it right now in the middle of the live stream. But I will look into that because I didn't know that. When we call elected officials, like you call to action to tell us to do, should we research all the offices with their phone numbers? Should we fax them too? Faxing? Really? I'm not sure there's too many fax numbers around. Maybe there still is. I don't know. There probably is. I would say in today's world, emails are huge. Phone numbers are huge. You got to understand, Liam, it's not that they're sitting there waiting. Oh, gee, I wonder if the public is mad at me. Gee, I don't want to pick up the phone because it's ringing. A lot of times they let it go to voicemail or they tell you to leave a voicemail. But that doesn't mean that that phone call isn't counted. And it also doesn't mean that whoever that Congress member is or that senator isn't hearing from their assistants, sir or ma'am, you just had, 456 phone calls in the last day, or you've had, 1,000 emails or whatever the numbers might be. Those politicians get those reports either on a daily or a weekly basis. Okay. They have to track all that stuff. It's part of their job. And so when you make those phone calls and emails, it adds up. And those politicians then go, wow, we've had 5,000 phone calls telling us not to do X, Y, and Z. Maybe I ought to think more about this. That's the pressure that we, the people, can put on politicians. As far as researching their phone numbers, typically I do that before I give you a phone number to make sure that that's an accurate and good number. But of course, you can do that. Sometimes they have multiple offices in a state. You may have like Joe Manchin. I think he has like Bowling Green, Louisville, I don't even know, like a bunch of different ones, but I tried to find the biggest ones and I give you 1 or 2 of them because again, I don't want to give 8, 9, phone numbers out. That's a lot of time and things like that. That's why I put them in the images and things like that. But the bottom line is you always want to be respectful, but you always want to be stern and you always want to be to the point. Okay? It's not about, hi, how are you? I love the work you're doing. No, it's, please tell the senator, tell the congresswoman, tell whatever, the governor, that we don't want them to do X, Y, and Z. That's what it's boiling down to. That's what civic activism is all about. How are we looking in terms of primarying scumbag Republicans across the United States and Democrats for that matter too? That's a great question. So far, out of, I believe, the 10 Republicans that voted to impeach Trump, 3 of them are already gone. There's 7 left. And I believe 2 or 3 of those 7 already have primary challengers. So we've got our work cut out for us, but we're not there yet. But as I said before, every single one of these Republicans, whether they voted or not, if they're a rhino Republican, they need to have a primary challenger. And that goes for the federal level, Congress, and that also goes at the state level, especially leadership in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan. All of those people in the quote unquote, leadership positions, every single one of them needs to be removed because most of them are rhinos and most of them are the ones that kept the audits from happening in the respective states. Any plans to interview Mike Lindell? I've actually interviewed Mike Lindell already. The interview is in limited free content. It's about 22 minutes long. I actually saw him today at the event, but there was a whole mess load of people trying to talk to him and get pictures and all that. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him today, but I did see him today. If you haven't talked about it already, what's the call to action for Arizona now that the legislature is in session? Well, basically, it's pressuring the Arizona legislature to do the right thing, which is bringing up bills like Wendy Rogers' bill to decertify the election. Obviously, that's going to be a tall task because you've got rhinos in the Republican side. But election integrity bills, and those right now we are working in Arizona on special ballots that are counterfeit proof ballots, so they can't be counterfeited. They've got different coding in them and things like that. You may remember, you'd have to go back a while, probably, I don't know, 5-6 months ago. I was interviewing Wendy Rogers on Hub Radio, and she whipped out one of those ballots, and she showed it. It's got a hologram on it and all that. It's still out there. So if you need it and you want to see it, I can show it to you. And then, of course, Mark Fincham is running for Secretary of State, and he's going to shut down, mail-in ballots, drop boxes, absentee ballots. So we're moving pretty hard here in Arizona. We've got a lot of great patriots, Liz Harris, many others, and we're on the ground, and we're working hard on making things happen. So, all right, great questions, Liam. Great questions. Okay, let's go back to some of the stuff here. What do we got? Let's see. Oh, all right. Hey, to all my stoners out there, I'm pretty sure my audience are not stoners. This one's kind of interesting. If you got COVID, folks, never mind ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine or even Benadryl with a little bit of milk, you may want to roll a big giant fatty. That's right. You may want to roll a big giant joint. Marijuana prevents COVID infection, according to a study. 2 compounds found in cannabis prevent the SARS-CoV-2 virus from penetrating healthy cells in humans, according to a new report. The 2 compounds in hemp, cannabigerolic acid, I can't really pronounce it, or CBGA, a cannabidiolic acid, these are weird words, or CBDA, were identified during a chemical screening effort as having potential to combat coronavirus. Researchers from Oregon State University. Well, hey, coming from Oregon State University, Oregon's like Colorado for the most part. Everybody's smoking weed there, which is why they're bashing down federal buildings on a nightly basis. Said in the study that they bound to spike proteins found on the virus and blocked a step the pathogen used to infect people, according to a laboratory study published in the Journal of Natural Products. The researchers tested the compound's effect against alpha and beta variants of the virus in a laboratory. The study didn't involve giving the supplements to people or comparing infection rates in those who use the compounds to those who don't, the report read. Hemp is a type of cannabis, but unlike marijuana, it has small amounts of tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, the chemical that gets you high. It is used in food and animal feed, while other extracts can be found in cosmetics and body lotions. These compounds can be taken orally and have a long history of safe use in humans, said Richard Van Bremen, a researcher with Oregon State's Global Hemp Innovation Center. They have the potential to prevent as well as treat infection of SARS-CoV-2, he said in a statement. Oh, very interesting. So I guess if you can get high, you'll not get COVID? I don't know. That's pretty interesting. So let's take a look at the chat box here. I do got to do something about this. I know I keep complaining about it, but that's why I do the stories. Oh, you guys are talking about different thing. Okay. Let's see here. I'll go back to the beginning of it. Let's see. Hey neighbor, Illinois 20. Okay. You guys are talking about where you're at. That's cool. Let's see. Southwest Chicago, hour away. Myself and a group of patriots have already reached out to the school. Oh, good, good. What's even more effed up, we found that the great governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, he's a real prick, was 1,000% for it and helped to back the decision. Oh, my God. Let's see. What else do we got here? My daughter and I have COVID. I'm sorry to hear that. Gail, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'll pray for you. I hope that you get better. Um, how much quercetin should we be taking? 1,000 milligrams. 1,000 milligrams of quercetin, 100 milligrams of zinc, and I think it's 120. It's 250 milligrams of vitamin D3 with K2. D3 with K2, and then at least 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I would take those right away. I would also take a Benadryl tonight with a tall glass of milk. The lactoferrin in the milk goes with the ingredients in the Benadryl. It's going to knock your ass out. You're going to go to sleep, but you'll wake up tomorrow and you'll feel much better. So I would definitely do that. And then again, if you need ivermectin, let me know. There are ways to get that, and I can show you how to do that. The other thing is try to find a nasal spray. It's very hard to find, but you can find it online. It's betadine. I've talked about this before. You may remember, when you were a kid and you got a cut or a scrape, what did your parents do? They dumped that red stuff on it, right? That's the iodine. That's betadine. What did doctors do before they, do surgery? They douse their hands in that red betadine, right? Well, they made a nasal spray of betadine. It's the best stuff in the world, and it does really, really good work, and it helps prevent and kill infections and viruses. So my thoughts and prayers are with you, Gail. Let's see. Should be take. My daughter had it for 4 days. I had it for 6. I have to take Keflex for a UTI as well. I have less urine during the day, and I pour out urine at night. My daughter has had no kidney problems with quercetin. Only happens with really large doses. Yeah, well, you don't want to take more than 1,000 milligrams. The Z-Stack with Dr. Zelenko, who, by the way, was at the event too, but I didn't get a chance to see him either. He, I believe, only has 500 milligrams of quercetin. I personally take double that because, I don't know, I'd rather be safer on my end, but you can do 500 too. Let's see. Let's see, what else do we got here? Anything else? Looks like you guys are mostly just kind of talking amongst yourselves. Okay, good. Good. All right, so let's cover some more stuff here. Oh, goodness. Like we need to hear from this idiot. The sodomite communist singer is running for Congress once again. I am talking about Cray Aiken. Ugh, disgusting. He put out this really weird video. American Idol star announces state congressional bid. Yeah, it's funny. He's trying to say that he's a, quote, moderate, right? But when you read about his positions, he's as extreme as anyone would be in the WAC squad, the Jihad squad with AOC. American Idol Season 2 runner-up, didn't even win, Cray Aiken, announced that he's running for Congress in North Carolina as a Democrat. Oh, what a surprise. The aging pop star declared his intention to run in the state's 6th congressional district in a YouTube video that acknowledged how much he has changed in the 20 years since he competed on American Idol. Quote, I came home, I came out, I became a father. Adoption, I would assume. These days, my life looks much more like yours than Justin Bieber's, is what he says. That I can promise you. But one thing that's never changed for me is how much I love my home state of North Carolina. It's the place that I discovered first, that I have a voice, and that it was a voice that could be used for more than just singing. Yeah, I'm sure you use your mouth for a lot more than singing. He said the North Carolina was a, quote, progressive beacon in the South for decades because, quote, the loudest voices in our government were progressives who actually made sure our state was moving forward. No, you mean moving backwards? Aiken noted that things changed when progressives lost power, thank God, and the state began adopting backward ass policies like the voter suppression bills and the bigoted bathroom bill. Oh yeah, you're surely a moderate, Clay. Yeah, you're a total moderate. That's why you don't have a problem with 6'5", 250-pound men with beards wearing a dress, scaring the living daylights out of a 6-year-old child because he decides that he wants to be a woman that day and he goes into the girl's bathroom. Yeah, sure, you're a moderate. Yeah, you're a moderate, right. Then he goes on and he says this. He said the loudest voices in North Carolina politics are white nationalists. Really? Wow. Like U.S. Representative Madison Cawthorn. Really? Somebody that served their country, got into a horrific car accident, and is in a wheelchair, and you're calling him a white nationalist? Wow. Hateful homophobes like Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, who he compared to Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Anytime a leftist attacks Marjorie Taylor Greene, Madison Cawthorn, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, you know that they are far, far, far to the left because those folks are good conservatives. These folks are taking up all the oxygen in the room, and I could tell you that I'm just sick of it, he stated. As Democrats, we have got to get better at speaking up and using our voices because those folks ain't quieting down anytime soon. That's why I'm running for Congress here in this community that raised me. Once again, it doesn't take a village, folks. It takes a family. It takes a parent. It takes a mother and a father in a nuclear family. It doesn't take a village. We're not raising on hippie communes here. So again, he says the community that raised him. He's a commie. And where I first discovered my voice, among other things, he touted level-headed, open-minded, and compassionate Democrats. None of that exists in 2022, okay? That's like seeing a purple unicorn. They don't exist either. A level-headed, really? Level-headed, open-minded? Oh, yes. Democrats are so open-minded, right? The big open tent. But if you don't agree with all of their policies and positions, well, then of course you can't come in, right? You're not welcome. No, they want to silence you. They want to censor you. They want to, admonish you. So he writes, level-headed, open-minded, and compassionate Democrats. Really compassionate Democrats. Let's see. Compassionate in what? Murdering a child on the day of its birth? That's real compassionate. Let's see. Taking guns away from law-abiding citizens so they can't protect themselves? That's passionate. Let me see. Forcing a poisonous injection into people's bodies? Whatever happened to my body, my choice? Oh, that's only if you want to kill the unborn, right? I got it. So let's see. Then he says the Democrats are the party of all Americans. No, they're the party of communists. They're the party of tyrants. They're the party of progressives and socialists and totalitarian, leaders and everything else. And he outlined his campaign policies as stopping climate change. Really? Yeah. Hey, why don't you go stand in front of that avalanche and see if you can stop that, Clay? Okay? Mother Nature is laughing at these climate idiots out there. Okay? She's going to do what she wants. Unbelievable. So his positions are, I want to stop climate change, systemic racism, which obviously is on the left, income inequality, gun violence, and secure voting rights, free health care, and women's right to choose. Wow. Yeah, you're a real moderate, buddy. Sure. Aiken lauded his party as the politicians who will solve the country's biggest problems and defend our most precious rights. Really? Defending our rights and Democrats in the same sentence? I don't think so. Then he added, just think how excited Cawthorn and Robinson would be if he was elected the first gay congressman in the South. Aw, how sweet. The former idol launched an unsuccessful bid for the U.S. House of Representatives in 2014. And yes, Clay, get your vocal cords ready because you're going to be singing the blues because you're going to get your ass kicked again, but I'm sure that's kind of what you like anyway. So there you go. That's Clay. What else do we got? We got more on here. Here, let's go. Let's check this one out here. Okay, so let's talk. We got a couple more minutes here. Okay, this is cool. Micaiah Jackson, I'm not sure if you know who he is. I was talking to him today. He's someone that I know. He was at the event. He was at the event that I was at today. We were talking. He outed a Fed, okay? And it's on. This is really cool because it's up on Gateway right now. Must see video. Well, we can't see the video right now, but January 6th, Micaiah Jackson, who, by the way, is being sentenced, I believe, next month because he was inside the Capitol. The maximum he said that he can get is 6 months, but he thinks he's going to get a month or two, maybe 3 tops. So I don't know if he's getting a chance to watch this, because sometimes he does. We need to throw you a party before you end up, going away for a bit. Micaiah Jackson confronts Arizona man Luke Robinson on video, who was in U.S. Capitol with a gun and was later removed from the FBI's most wanted list. So here, check this out. Micaiah Jackson was arrested in May 2021 and charged with entering the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. Micaiah was also charged with disorderly, violent entry, demonstrating in a Capitol building, and being disruptive. Micaiah Jackson pleaded guilty to one charge, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building. He is scheduled for February 25th, so next month, like I said. And they're going to do it over Zoom. They're not even going to have them, in person. They're going to do it through Zoom. So ridiculous. Micaiah pleaded. So let's see. On Friday, we received this email from Gateway pundit reader George. I'm sure you're aware of Micaiah Jackson. He's one of Arizona's persecuted January 6 protesters. He just confronted another guy who got removed from the FBI's most wanted list and had a gun inside the Capitol. And there's pictures of this guy. Sure enough, the FBI deleted Luke Philip Robinson, number 343, from their online list. So the only person with a gun that day that was dropped from the FBI list was that guy. How did that happen, huh? Wow. Unreal. Micaiah today confronted Luke Philip Robinson, a.k.a. Ginger Gun, in Arizona. Robinson was at the January 6th protest. He had a firearm and was wearing an earpiece. The FBI later removed him from their most wanted list. Hey, man. This is him talking, Micaiah. Hey, man, why were you removed number 343 from the FBI most wanted list? Robinson, I don't know. Hey, man, can I talk to you after this? Micaiah, hey, man, Luke, can you please wait a second? Micaiah, hey, we just want to know what's going on. We can help you out. We want to help you. We need to figure out what's going on. And so he confronted him. Obviously, the video is on the Gateway Pundit. But yeah, I was literally just talking to Micaiah. He's interviewed me a few times and things like that. He's been at lots of the different events. He's worked with Hub Radio Phoenix. He's a good guy, good kid. He's like 23, 24 years old. If you get a chance, check it out on Gateway. So, all right, what time is it? 7:58. All right, let's see. Let's go. Maybe we'll do one more before we go. Let me find something good. Let's see here. How about... Here, we'll do this one. General Electric has suspended vaccine requirements after the Supreme Court struck down Biden's OSHA mandate. General Electric Company on Friday suspended its vaccine or test, right? What do I always say? Or test. Remember, folks, there's no such thing as a vaccine mandate. There is no rule, there is no law, there is no authority to force somebody to inject something in your body. It doesn't exist. It's not on the books. It's not a law. It's not nothing. That's why the Supreme Court did what they did. That's why I said that they would do what they were going to do. And even the federal mandate is not a real mandate, the one that they quote unquote upheld, because all they're going to do is just annoy people. That's what it's about. You've got to get that vaccine, or you're going to have to be tested every week or every day or whatever. So federal workers that don't want to be vaxxed, well, they're going to make a decision. I could either quit, get a job in the private sector, which of course is going to have less federal workers, which is going to bring more people into the private sector. And anytime you can shrink the size of government, I'm a happy camper. Or they're going to continue to work for the federal government and they're going to be annoyed. They're going to have to get tested every day or every week or whatever it is. But they can't be forced. They can't be fired, number one, and they can't be forced to be injected. So ultimately, the Supreme Court, by doing what they did to the federal government and federal employees, which is about 2 million people, it's a blessing in disguise, because a lot of those people that are refusing to get jabbed, they're going to quit. And what does that do? It shrinks the size of bureaucracy in our government, which what? Makes more freedom, more people then working in the private sector, the economy grows, and everybody's making more money. So again, it's a blessing in disguise here. So General Electric on Friday suspended its vaccine, excuse me, or test requirement for its 174,000 employees after the Supreme Court blocked the OSHA mandate. Although Congress has indisputably given OSHA the power to regulate occupational dangers, it has not given that agency the power to regulate public health more broadly, the court wrote in an unsigned opinion. Requiring the vaccination of 84 million Americans selected simply because they work for the employers with more than 100 employees certainly falls in the latter category. Well, there it is. So GE is the first domino to fall. Let me tell you this right now, okay? Biden made some stupid comment saying that they should ignore the courts and that they should continue to do these vaccines. Okay? Let me be as clear as I can. I will target, let me use this word correctly, I will target those businesses by exposing those businesses that continue to ignore the will of the people and the authority of the Supreme Court. I will make a database. As a matter of fact, I was working on that. And then, of course, my website guy got very, very ill, and he's starting to do a little bit better. But that was the delay. We were going to roll out this whole thing, and we haven't been able to do it because of that. But we still may do it, and we may shame, that's right, shame companies that have a vaccine, quote, mandate for their employees. I will out them. I will put the names of the companies, the CEOs, their phone numbers, their business numbers, of course, their addresses, all of it in a database. And I'll make sure that people understand, do not do business with these businesses because they do not believe in medical autonomy. So it won't just be me. It'll be other people doing it too. So corporate America, the woke-tocracies out there, you better listen up, and you better listen up clear. You better drop these mandates effective immediately. All right. What else? That's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, thank you all. I really, truly appreciate you being here. I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm still waiting, believe it or not, on my VIP passes for the Trump rally. And for some reason, I haven't gotten them in yet. They said that they'll have them within 24 hours. So I'm on the VIP list, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go. So if I don't go, I'll either do one of two things. I'll either go back for the second day of the Reawakening tour for Clay Clark, or I may just take a mental health day and go out to the mountains and maybe do a video out there. I don't know. But regardless, we're going to have content for tomorrow, of course. And then, of course, for Sunday as well. All right. God bless you all. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you soon.